Hello everyone, welcome along to this tutorial using blend shapes in Maya. I'm going to start with the basics of what a blend shape is and then follow on to some more advanced techniques like multiple blend shapes and painting blend shape weights. For this tutorial I'll be using Maya 2012, but if you're using an earlier version of Maya you can still follow along just the same. So let's start with what is a blend shape. A blend shape is when one object, such as the cube that I have on the left here, will take on all or part of the form of another object, such as this deformed object that I have on the right here. So I've already set this blend shape up just for the purpose of showing you, and we can see it in this cube's inputs down here under blend shape 1, and we can see here it's being blend shaped to polycube 2, which is the name of this shape on the right. And if I set this to 1, which is 100%, you can see the cube now takes on all of the form of the shape on the right. I can set it in the middle to say 0.5, which is 50%, or I can set it to any value I want anywhere in between, like so. One thing to be aware of when using blend shapes is the object that you're blend shaping from and you're blend shaping to must have both the same number of verts and the same vertex order. So this means ideally you will finish modeling your base object first, in which case was this cube I spent hours creating here. Then you will duplicate it and start deforming your duplicate object without adding any extra verts or edge loops or anything like that. If you do add extra verts, extra edge loops, then the blend shape won't work as expected. So always finish your base shape first, ensure it's finished, and then duplicate out however many you need to perform your blend shapes. Okay, so now we know what a blend shape is, let's learn how to set them up and how to use them effectively. Alright, here's a simple scene that I've got set up that I'll be using for the remainder of this tutorial. I have on the left here a pair of trousers which I've called base trousers, where I've modelled in some minor detail around the knees, giving it some realistic shape around the back. And I have two other pairs of trousers here with different detail on that I'll be using to blend shape onto this base pair to add some more detail to it. So first off, how do we add a blend shape? Okay, first we need to select our blend shape object, and then we need to select our base object. Now selection order is very important. The last object to be selected is the one that the blend shape will be applied to. So this pair of trousers on the right will be blend shaped onto this pair of trousers on the left. Now blend shapes can be found under the animation menu. So if you come up to the top and select the animation from the drop down menu, or press F2, and then along the top come to create deformers, and right there at the top you'll see blend shape, and hit that. Now on this pair of trousers on the left you'll see under its input blend shape 1 has turned up, and you can see here it's blended to blend 01. You can probably sort of see that. I'm just going to turn off selection highlighting so you can see what's going on. I've still got this pair of trousers on the left selected, and as I increase and decrease the value you can see this pair of trousers on the left is taking on the form of this pair of trousers on the right, right down to this dodgy stuff that's going on underneath. Okay, I've reset my scene to before I'd applied any of the blend shapes, so you see my base trousers have no blend shape applied to them at the moment. I'm going to be using this to show you how to set up multiple blend shapes, and then we're going to be painting the weights of the blend shapes to avoid getting these areas like under here where we don't want to pick up this detail. So setting up multiple blend shapes is as simple as setting up one blend shape. You simply select all the objects you want to blend shape from, then shift select the object you're blend shaping to and create a new blend shape. This time when you look under the blend shape input you'll see that we now have blend 01 and blend 02, which is both of these pairs of trousers. If I just turn off selection highlighting again just to show you, I now select blend 01 and put it to 100%. It's taking on all of blend 01. Put that back to 0 and put blend 02 to 100%, you can see it's now matching this one, and I can actually mix and match up to 100% of both of those. So Blend 01 and Blend 02 at 100%. It has pulled in this detail from around the bottom of Blend 01 and this detail I've modelled on the side of Blend 02. And I can do any variation of those that I want. So Blend 01 at 0.5 perhaps, Blend 02 at 0.67, why not? And now you can see it's taking on only part of the detail. This rather messed up bit underneath highlights that quite well. As you can see, it's only taking on part of this messed up bit at the bottom. Which brings us on quite nicely to the next part. Now, if I turn Blend Shape 1 off, and I'm going to put Blend Shape 2 up completely, we can see that I've got some nice detailing going on in the side here, but these are very straight. There's nothing going on, and I've lost all of the detail that I modelled in at the back. This is because this blend shape is trying to match the whole of the blend shape object onto my base object. So all of this, every single one of these verts is being blend shaped onto every single one of these verts. Lucky for us, Maya has a way of us saying please only use this detail from this pair of trousers and this detail from this pair of trousers and keep everything else the same. This is called painting blend shape weights. Now to show you this, I'm going to need one of the blend shapes completely active and the other one inactive. So I'm going to leave Blend 02 active, which is this pair of trousers with the straight legs but this detailing on the side. So to do this, we need to select our base shape, this pair of trousers on the left. We come up to Edit Deformers, and about halfway down you'll see Paint Blend Shape Weights tool, and just select the option box. The first thing you'll notice is our trousers have turned completely white. Our mouse pointer has turned to a brush, as you can see, and we have the tool options on the right here. Let's start with the reason the trousers have turned white. Maya by default uses a black to white system to show you white where your object is being affected and black where it's not being affected, and grey obviously where it's being partly affected. At the moment, because blend shapes default to affecting an entire object, all of our trousers are completely white. And we need to change that. We actually only want to pick up this detail on the side from here. So we want the rest of the trousers to actually be black so that it's not picking up any of the straightness in these trouser legs. So coming over to the tool options that opened up. At the top we have brush, fairly standard. The radius of the brush, the opacity, the fall off, all fairly standard stuff covered under the help menu. I'm not going to bore you with that. Underneath the target, you'll find all the blend shapes this object currently has. We've only got two, if you remember, Blend 01 and Blend 02. As I said, we're going to be using Blend 02 for this demonstration, so I'm going to select Blend 02 and that will become the active deformer that we are painting the weights for. And then coming down, we've got the paint weights, which we'll get to in a moment. This is what we're actually going to be using. Just quickly, there are a few other tools. The stroke, again, fairly standard. Stylus pressure for if you're using a tablet, as I currently am, and a couple of other attributes. Again, all very boring, all detailed in the help. What we're interested in is this paint weights option. So at the top we have paint operation. This affects how the brush will apply the weights. So replace will replace anything that's already there with one of these values that you have selected below. Add will add to it, scale will scale it up and down, and smooth will obviously smooth it out. The value, now this is the most important part, this is the weight. So at the moment it's 0, this is a 0 to 1 scale. Our trousers are currently, all of it has a value of 1. If I select value down to 0 and I come over to my trousers and I start to paint, you see they start to go black, which means then this part of the trousers is not being affected by the blend shape. And I can show you that on the side. This is the detail that we're picking up from this pair of trousers over here. And if I start to paint that black, you'll see the blend shape starting to come out of it completely, until it's no longer being affected by it at all. Same again on the other sides. Just undo that. Now, because I'm only want to pick a very small area, I don't want to have to go around all of these trousers all the way around and unpaint the weights for all of that. That would be very long, very boring. We have this flood button down here, which is really useful, and this will apply this value that we have selected here to the entire object. So if I select the value to 0, click flood, now my trousers have gone black. Similarly, if I was to set a value of 0.5, let's say, and flood it, they go grey. And you can see when you do that, this detail in the side coming and going. So 0, we've got none of that detail. 1, hit flood, all of that detail pops in. Just a quick note, this colour ramp down here, this is what I actually prefer using. This is as opposed to the black and white system that Maya currently uses. If I check that, you'll see my trousers go red. And what that means is on this weight colour here, everything that's red on the right is completely affected, 100%, all the way down to this blue, and there's actually a black on the left of that blue, which means it's not being affected. I prefer using this colour ramp method, other people prefer the black and white. It's entirely up to you. So, to get what I want from this particular blend shape, I'm going to set the value all the way down to 0. I'm going to click flood, and the trousers will go black. Then I'm going to put the value back up to 1, and I'm going to change my brush radius, but I'm actually going to do it on the screen by holding down B, middle mouse clicking, and making it smaller. Maybe a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to paint in where I want the blend shape to be applied. And you can see with the additional colours of the colour ramp, you can see your fall off much easier. And I often think that this makes for a nicer transition between areas that are blend shaped and areas that are not. So I'm just going to paint that in on both sides, just like that. So now just those small areas, just there a little bit, are going to be affected by the blend shape. I'm just going to hit Q, and that will exit the painting the blend shape weight. I'm just going to turn off the selection highlighting. Again, I've still got this selected. Now if I come to my channel box, under the blend shape, if I reduce the Blend 02 value, you can see the dents in the side come out, and if I put it back up, you can see only that part of the trousers is being affected. I've still got all the other detail that I added into it earlier on. Just to show you that again, I'm going to take that out, I'm going to put blend shape 1 on completely. You can see this is affecting the whole trousers yet again, pulling out the back, and I've got all this nastiness going on at the bottom here. So if I leave that on, yet again, edit deformers, paint blend shape weights tool, the options box. Because we were recently working on Blend 02, that's the first one that's going to be selected, and you can see my painted weights there. If I come to Blend 01, my trousers have gone completely red because Blend 01 is completely affecting this base object, as you can see. So again, I'm actually going to flood this with a value of 0. And then I'm going to come up to a value of 1. I'm just going to paint in, I just want this detail around the bottom. So I'm just going to paint that in, maybe slightly larger brush. and then we start to get the detail come back in. I'll just do this quickly just for the purposes of demonstration. You can obviously spend much more time. I'll do, press Q to exit that. And select my trousers again. Again, I've got selection highlighting turned off. I have got my trousers selected, but I've got it turned off just to make it easier for you to see. In the channel box, under the blend shape, I can now turn blend shape 1 to nothing, and this is my trousers back as they were before I applied any blend shape. And if I turn it up, you see I'm just pulling in that detail from the bottom, and I can pull in blend shape 2, and now I'm just getting the detail from the side of blend shape 2, the detail from the bottom of shape 1, and I've still got all my detail left in the back. So that's a fairly basic to medium method of using shapes. They can be quite powerful, either used as animation or modeling techniques. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Keep an eye out for my next one.